Like I've said before, one approach will not be appropriate for every type of question, and the examples we've got here really show that. The first couple of questions that we've got are about finding the prefix to certain words. So the first example we've got from question 8 has hand, man, told, arm and father, and you've got to find the prefix that will fit in front of all of those and still make sense. And these are very difficult. You've got to check through all of the words and make sure that what you've got as an idea for an answer fits with all of them. And these will be much down to practice and reading a lot, because the more you know of words, the more you'll be able to predict what the answer to these might be. Because if you've not heard of the word forefather, then figuring out that for is the prefix for that word in this context will be quite difficult. So read around a lot, especially if you know you're coming out to an exam that will involve things like this, and get really familiar with a lot of words. The same can be said for question 11. It's the same kind of answer. The difficulty here is that the way you would pronounce re in front of make is not the way that you would pronounce re in front of tro, which is misleading because you then instantly think it's probably not the right answer. But if you say it over again and maybe change your pronunciation, you'll get to retro. And it's different from all the others because you can't re-tro something. To tro is not an actual verb, whereas to make and to start, they are verbs. So it's really misleading, but retro is a valid word, and that is the correct prefix for this particular question. So try out a lot of different pronunciations of certain prefixes to see if they fit in front of these. This is a question that may take a little bit of time if you're not particularly hot on these, but again, practice and reading is going to be so helpful with things like this. The final example I've got here is question 4, which is working something out, but it's more mathsy rather than English. It's talking about if a plane takes off from Toronto at this time and it will arrive in London, which is 5 hours ahead, at what time will it land? That's really hard because you've got a lot that you've got to try to negotiate in the question. You've got to figure out how long the plane takes. It tells you how long the plane takes. You've got to add that onto the leaving time and then add on the time ahead that London is from Toronto. So you can do that two ways. You can do it like that, take it in stages, or you can think, well, the flight takes this long and London is 5 hours ahead. Add those two together and then add that onto the leaving time. So figure out which approach would work for you and then use that in future questions that are like this. But like I say, two different approaches to questions will not work for everything. So try and build up a big repertoire of approaches that you can have to questions, and then hopefully that way there will be not one single question that you come across that you think you can't answer. So give it some practice, think about how to approach questions, and it should be okay.